Good evening everyone and welcome to another race in EML Premier 2. It's round 6 and we are on the track of Suzuka in Japan, where we've actually just been in real life and we've seen what action we can get there, but what action will we get tonight? I'm your commentator, Lesty the Twig, or just Lesty, however you want to call me. It is fine. Me on my own this evening. Storm is taking over duties on Premier 1 tonight, with Ivan alongside him, as James, head of commentary, is currently unwell with COVID, so we wish him well. So if you want to join those guys with Premier 1, just check out the rest of the channel. That is live as well. But you know what? Stick with me because we'll have a much better time here. We're going to have a lot more fun together. We're going to get great racing on the track. And we're going to have good vibes. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Please do get chatting away in the comments, and I'll have a read through some things, have some predictions, give me some controversial things, some views, anything. Just let me know. But anyway, here we are on the track of Suzuka, and we are on board with TTG driver Marcus Costa. He's the first one on a flying lap, so he is going to set the bar in these early stages of qualifying for the rest of the field. As he's just coming up to big left hand. I can't remember the name. That's not great. I should know the name of that, considering I got up at 6 AM this past weekend, to watch the Japanese Grand Prix. But anyway, Marcus Costa is going to set a time of 1:29.2, so that is the benchmark for everyone else. I think I see a red ball. And it's a red ball. It looks a bit dark. It might be Bumpier. It is Bumpier, the IRT man. Here he comes round the final corner. What can he do? It's a 1:29.4 for Bumpier. Joey's in the chat. Good luck, boys. Can't remember who. Joey, who are you following? Remind me. But 130R is the name. Thank you, Joey, for reminding me. My old age is getting to me. The old age of 25. Someone else, there's a SXT driver coming across the line. I think he's just started a lap. We are on board the other TTG man of Predator 88. What can he do compared to his teammate? It's only 1:29.5, so a few tenths off his teammate there, as we're getting the first few laps coming through now. Colin Mason has aborted his lap. Daniel is coming. We've got two SXT Daniels today. We've got Daniel and Daniel 28. So apologies if you get mixed up with that one. Not much I can do about it, if I'm honest. Alright, so we've got someone who's on a hot lap. Jet is on a hot lap. Let's go on board with Jet. What can he do? His teammate, the BER team, Raphael, has gone second so far, 1:29.3. So Jet will be looking to try to do as well as his teammate here, at least. Challenge for that top front row. Top front row doesn't even make sense. Sorry, I'm really not with it tonight. Who else is on a lap? Here comes Julian coming to the line for IRT. It's a 1:29.8. So that early lap from Marcus Costa is actually looking pretty solid so far. Only one person. Oh, if someone crashed out. If someone retired on track. What's happened there? A bit confused with that one. But here we are. X Team, X Esports. Oh, next Jonah gets a bit loose on the curve, and he's going to spin me right round, baby, right round. Let's get on board the SXT, boys. So we currently don't have anyone on a fast lap. Maybe Mike, he didn't do the best first lap, so I'm assuming he backed off, and he is going to go and set his time now, and that's a 1:31.3. Stays in P9 for now. No one currently on a lap, but the first person to get on a lap is the CPI driver of Florian. So we'll stay on board with Florian for a lap of the Japanese Grand Prix, and I'm going to let you listen in. And there you go, CPI Florian does a 1:30.5, and that is a lap of Suzuka. So here we go, here comes the SXT boys. Here's Daniel, and just Daniel. And he goes fastest, 1:29 flat, pretty much. There's more guys coming to the line now. It's his teammate of SXT, Daniel, 28. So what can he do? Can he match his... Oh no, he's invalidated. That is a shame. It's a 1:29.281, so he would have gone P3. So that is a shame that he's invalidated that there. Mashiru for RLS, Rising Lions Sports. Only driver for them this evening, unfortunately. The other driver couldn't make it in time, and you're not allowed to join once the session is underway. So only driver here for RLS. We've lost another BNLRE driver. Sancho Wes and Dennis are both out. I think one of them retired in the pit lane. Let's go on board with Just Coconuts, because we might be able to see us. Justin lost. Oh, that was good timing. Just Coconuts just losing it. He's still okay. He's gonna have to get himself back to the pits though and sort that out. Daniel is not on a lap. Jet is on a lap, so let's have a look. What can Jet do? Oh, and there's a car sat there on the final corner. It was actually his teammate. And Jet is going to put down a 1:29.6. Now I see a TTG driver. That's not that one. It's Predator. He's on a 1:29.5. Or is he just starting? No, he's just starting his lap. We'll let him go. We'll go on board with Bunty, who apparently has done a purple second sector here. So Bunty looking good, unless he's had a bit of a stinker of a first sector. So here he comes up to the line. What can he do? He improves by one position. He's up into P8 ahead of the IRT Julian. There's someone coming across the line. Is it Mason? No, it's Mike. Mike's starting a lap. Julian coming to the end of his lap. No, it's not. It's Bumpye. Bumpye's just gone third fastest. It's 129.25. So he'll be happy with that improvement. Marcus Costa, what can he do? Can he go back on top? Yes, he can. First man into the 28s, and he's improved on his time by nearly half a second there, which is a big improvement and a big message to the rest of the field. What can his teammate do? His teammate is coming up to the line. Can TTG propel themselves up onto the front row? They can. To 28.8 for Predator. TTG are looking good, looking hot here. Only drivers into the 128, so everyone else is really going to have to buck up their ideas. See, Bunty's coming towards the line. I think he's not on the lap. Go with just Coconuts, who's we saw spin momentarily. It doesn't look like he's going to improve, so he's going to duck into the pits. Mike, he is on a lap. He's done a 131.3, and he improves with a 130.4. He places that Williams car, Esports Wales Tan driver, into P10. Someone coming around the final corner. It's his teammate of Colin Mason. What can Colin do? He can go 8, so he can better his teammate. And he does a 129.7. Yellow flag at the final sector. Not sure what happened there. Who have we got? We got Daniel's invalidated a lap, so he's going to try again. A few drivers still not to set laps. Both of the ex-esports men not set laps yet, and SXT Daniel 28 still to set a lap as well after invalidating his one and only try. Is there anyone else on the lap? I don't think so at the moment. So we'll go on board with SXT Daniel. I don't think Raphael is on a lap. He didn't have his ERS active. And there we go. He could be on a lap. We'll stick with Raphael and we'll duck to Daniel if we need to. But in the time being, just a reminder of the standings. TTG, for the first time this season, top the standings. They've jumped SXT and sit on 183 points, and SXT on 179. So it's a really close battle at the top. 4 points in it, but TTG have the momentum at the moment and sit top spot. Then there's a bit of a gap, and it's third place for Esports Wales Tan, as Raphael does come into the pits, and no time for him to go back on board with Daniel. Third place is Esports Wales Tan on 101 points, with BNL Racing Esports just behind them by 1 point on 100 points. So again, tight there as well, as SXT Daniel invalidates. Is he going to have time to get out and do another one? I think he'll just about. So we're in that sort of, oh, Mashiro's gone for a spin, and it's on entry. Is it on entry, or has he tried to actually do a lap there and spun into the pit lane? I'm not too sure, but he won't be happy with that. We have got his teammate that has joined. Now, that isn't allowed. So, if Mashiro or anyone is listening, let him know, because his result, I believe, will not count. So, we're just going to ignore that for now. But SXT Daniel starting his first timed lap. I know Bumpye is up ahead, he's on a lap. Julian might be on a lap as well. Who else is there? There's everyone coming out now. It's that final run of the session. This is the make or break point. And TTG are currently laughing with where they have positioned themselves. SXT Daniel 28 just backed off Looks like he's abandoned this one. Maybe wasn't happy with something, or traffic coming up. But he knows he has time to get round to do another go, so who knows. Let's have a look. So I think Bumpia was up ahead. No, it was actually his teammate who's invalidated, so he's not on a lap. Just Coconuts is. So let's go on board with Just Coconuts. Mishiro has retired in the pits. He's not going to be able to set another lap time in this session for him. As here comes Just Coconuts up towards the line. He's previously set a 131.1. It goes up into P9 for now, 129.8. That is his qualifying done. Did we see Julian? Was it Julian on the lap? No, it wasn't Julian on the lap. Excuse me guys if I do miss anyone on a lap. This is the point where it gets a bit hectic. Oh, Julian's definitely on a lap. Not on a lap, sorry. He has spun it off. And he's got to be careful here because he's got a load of cars. Is there going to be a car that misses out? There's going to be cars that miss out here. Colin has missed out unless he just got a time in that I didn't see. Bumpye is done. Funky Chicken is done. No time for him. But I do see a pair of TTG drivers coming up to the line. Can these guys improve their times even further? Consolidate that top spot, and TTG Predator goes provisional pole and takes it away from his teammate Marcus Costa. That's still front row, but that is potentially cemented. Oh, and Daniel is definitely not going to be able to improve as he finds a gravel trap in sector 1. And it's gone board with his teammate, who's actually the furthest round from anyone. I think a fair few, I'm looking at the track map, I think a fair few people on their last runs have made mistakes because a lot of people are going slow. There was a big queue of cars readying up to go at the end of this session. But here comes Daniel. What can he do on his last and final attempt? It's 29.4, puts him up to P6. What can the VER guys do? They stay 5th and 6th. There is a CPI of Bunty up into P8. Jonah, the only Esports driver with the time, he places himself up into P9. That's a bit of a relief there for Esports. They've got a bit of a... Oh, where's Florian going? He's not on a time. That is a big relief, I think, for the Esports drivers, and that's that actually. So there we have it. TTG front row lockout. They maintain their momentum from the past few races and are taking the fight to SXT. SXT both up there. I think obviously SXT Daniel is 3rd, and Daniel 28 I believe is in and around. There he is, 7th place. So they're still in contention. Still a long way to go, but that is qualifying, and I'll go through the final results of that. It's a TTG 1-2 with Predator and Marcus Costa, and SXT Daniel takes 3rd place. Bumpye in 4th, Raphael, VER Jet, the VER boys in 5th and 6th, SXT Daniel 28 in 7th, CPI Bunty takes 8th, 9th for Esports driver Jonah, and 10th is BNLRE Sancho Wiz. The rest of the field is made up by Colin Mason 11th, Just Coconuts 12th, Julian 13th, Ivor Bryn Mike 14th, 15th, Florian Mashiro 16th, Nathan 17th, the other BNLRE driver in 18th, and Funky Chicken of Esports in P19 and without a set time. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to quickly bring up the stream because I haven't been looking and seeing your comments. Thank you to everyone tuning in as always. Make sure you do like the stream. We want to see those likes up, especially now. Look at this weather. We've got a real life Japanese race going on here that we've just seen at the weekend. The rain is coming down, so these are going to test. This track is challenging as it is, but this rain will test these drivers even more. So do like the stream, guys. Subscribe to the League Racing TV channel. Supports us really well. It goes a long way, so please do both of those things. And also get the comments in the chat. Get some predictions in. Something for me to have a look at. But here we go. I think we are about to get underway as the lights are on. And they're out. Oh, it looks like they're all getting off to a bit of a slow one. Everyone's it's a bit of a treacherous condition. SXT Daniel looking to go around the outside of the TTG man, and Marcus Costa not going to make it. Now he's got Bumpye at the back of him. That's not going to happen though. And this is an important part. The S's in the rain, just sort of diving through the field, seeing if anything's happened. Mashiro making a move. Dennis making a move on Florian. There's something there. Just Coconut's looking a bit squirrely. And Sancho Wiz, did he get tapped? Did he lose it himself? But he has lost that car, that Mercedes, tumbling down the order to the back of the field. Oh, and Colin Mason has outbraked himself back into the rear of Jet. Daniel has made a pass on Predator. And here's some moves. Look at these moves. Everyone making the most of everyone going gingerly around the hairpin. There's some moves further down at the back as well, but the big move so far is Daniel up into P2, splitting the TTG drivers. And so far, so good. We've had one spinner. Everyone else has kept it relatively clean in these conditions. Raphael looking on the back of that Red Bull of Bumpye, although Bumpye seems to have a better front straight line speed, sorry. Nothing's going to happen there. There's a move behind. Daniel just keeping Jonah at bay, and we've got someone who's gone off on 130 yards. Jet. He has had a spin somewhere, and he's now at the back with Sancho Wiz, and there's a driver that's out. Van der Beek. Van der Beek, not the Man United player. Wow. It's Nathan D.D. Burke, who actually joined late. And we believe his result wasn't going to count anyway, but he's out of the race, and hopefully didn't actually affect anyone else there, because if he has, that's going to be quite the frustration for that driver. But I believe we just have a VSC. It's not a full safety car, and everyone gets a bit of time to just sort of settle the nerves, see where they're at, assess their situations, assess the tyres, the strategies. And everyone's going to try and time this right. There's the strategy at the bottom. You can either try just the one stop, or play it safe and do the two stop on these inters, and it looks like it's going to be wet throughout according to that, but I'm not going to trust anything. And there we go, we're green, we're racing again. Everyone has managed to stay under that delta, which is good news. We don't want any drive through. Oh, this SXT Daniel 28 on that outside curb gets a bit squirrely. We've seen a few cars now struggling to just find the rear grip on this wet and slippery Suzuka circuit. Jonah having a look. Jonah looking like he's got some nice pace in these conditions. Seems to be pushing Daniel 28 every time we've sort of gone on board. We're going to stay here because this is the closest battle on track at the moment. and while we're looking at this battle, let's have a look at the position changes. Who is the big movers? So the BNLRE Dennis up 6 positions. Great start from him. Obviously they didn't have a great qualifying session, so for them that is definitely key, getting those moves up. Colin Mason up 3 as Jonah's going to look down the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? Is he going to have the traction? He is, and that is a great move by Jonah, sending it on the hairpin of Daniel. And I think Daniel, and that's, oh, Just Coconuts is out of this one. Right where Signs, pretty much where Signs binned it, if I'm not mistaken. But he is out of the race. Funky Chicken is way back. Not sure what happened to him. We didn't see anything about that. But it looks like another VSC. But as I was saying, I believe that was pretty smart from Daniel to not challenge that too much. I think Jonah is showing some good pace, so I think it's just best let him go, and then you can just focus on your own race, and maybe just keep with him. That would sort of be my strategy if that was happening. I just sort of let him go. It's not worth it. It's 4th lap of this race. Oh, it was 3rd, sorry. So best to just focus on your own race for now and try and find your rhythm, your groove. Try and just get the pace up and hopefully catch that driver at a later point in the race. Hopefully everyone is going to stay within the delta again and see no drive-throughs as Jonah goes quite deep. It doesn't matter, it's VSC. And there we go, Just Coconuts leaves the session. We are racing, we are green once more. It looks like Raphael has had a good start off of that VSC ending, and he's now right on the back of RT Bunye, sitting there in P4. Is Raphael going to be able to make a move? You see at the bottom of your screen, he's using that ERS, turned it off now though. Back on it, he wants to try and see if he can make a move into the chicane, but he's going to be patient here. But you can't be too patient. Look at that, Jonah now right on the back of Raphael. You go from being the predator to the prey within a few corners. And let's go on board with Jonah. He looks to be the driver on track, flying at the moment. Obviously Marcus Costa just set the fastest lap. He's out there in P1, leading this race, keeping it strong in these first few laps to TTG. Jonah seems to actually lose time in the corners and the turns, so it looks like he's just got a much better straight line speed setup compared to the others, so he's sacrificing time in the turns to be able to overtake on the straights, which I guess is quite important here. We saw it in real life with Hamilton. He struggled. He didn't overtake Ocon because he didn't have the straight line speed. So if you sacrifice too much straight line speed, there's not many places you can overtake in turns. You saw George do it, but it was quite an audacious couple of moves from George, and thankfully it was respectful. But instead now, Raphael is now back on the charge and not being the hunter. He is not being the hunted. He's now back to being the hunter, and he wants to get past this Red Bull, but it's not going to happen. And there's Jonah once again coming up to the back of him. So it looks like that's going to be a battle going on for a little while as Daniel sets the fastest lap now, and we start to gain on TTG. Marcus Costa, BNLRE Dennis now looking like he wants the Red Bull of Julian going around the outside. That's not going to happen. Didn't have the grip out there, obviously going off the the dry line you can see, so it's a lot wetter on the outside of turn 1. Didn't have the grip. Best to just back out there and just stay patient, try and find a better opening, as Colin Mason now takes the fastest lap, flying away. And let's go back to Raphael, because he seems to be the middleman here. Evil Bryn Mike, unfortunately, he is the first man to get a track limits penalty. 3 seconds for the Esports World's Town driver. Just Coconuts in the comments, I did the same thing as Signs. That's exactly what I said. Unlucky, Just Coconuts. Head up on to the next one. It happens. Tricky conditions out there. I can see Dennis is looking to make a move on Julian. There's a yellow flag. Jets has gone off. Raphael's teammate. And he's still not going to be able to make this move as he goes deep. And that's... Oh, and there's been contact. Oh dear. Jonah saw he went deep. Went for the move round the outside. And the door was shut by Raphael. And that has caused a bit of contact. Has Jonah got any damage? I think Raphael will be alright damage-wise. But Jonah might have a bit of damage on that front wing, maybe. No visible damage. So if there is damage there, it shouldn't affect him too much. But that's got to be frustrating for Jonah. He's working pretty hard, and he got the overtake on Daniel earlier, but now he's gonna have to do it again. Back into P6 for the XE Sports man. Let's go. So we saw Dennis overtake Florian, so Florian's trying to stay with the BNLRE man as he all finds the gravel on the exit there. That's not going to help. And Mishiro is now looking at the back of that McLaren. He's always going to try an audacious move, and he's just too late on the brakes. He's lucky there. Lucky boy. Look, he's still got all that front wing, and he didn't damage Florian at all. And I think Jet has gone for another spin. Jet not having the race he would have liked so far. Just can't get to grips with these conditions. So Mishiro's going to have to be a bit more patient. Well, he's not going to have to be patient now. He's going to have to try and catch up again. As we see Raphael coming up to the back of Bunty. He's trying to regain positions lost due to a collision. As Jonas showing his pace there. We did say he's looking like one of the fastest drivers on the track, and he's just proved that point. Oh, we got a move at the back. Shiro and Sancho Wiz. Sancho Wiz making a move on the RLS driver. So Mishiro goes from trying to get P11, causing a collision, staying P12 and then dropping back to P13. So not the lap Mishiro would have wanted. Needs to get his head down, focus again as Raphael overtakes Bunty. I'm not sure if Bunty just let him past or maybe had a little bit of a mistake. But that seemed like a pretty easy move there for Raphael, and that's, sometimes drivers just want to focus on themselves, don't want too much pressure from behind. And if a driver is faster than you, it is sometimes the smarter thing to do, because otherwise you're just gonna have a lot of pressure piling on yourself, and that's just gonna force you into a few mistakes and to be pushing your tyres much more than you'd like, damaging the life of them. Oh, Daniel 28 nearly had a moment where that Alpine nearly flung its way into the pit wall. As you see, Jonah set another fastest lap, so Jonah's really showing that he's the fastest man on track right now. and he's pulling up to the back of these two again, so Jonah is going to be back towards this fight once more. And in about a lap or two, I'm sure he'll be on the back of this. Oh, that's not a move, that's just Colin Mason overtaking Mashiro, who has gone for a pit. And Jonah is actually pushing too much as he gets a 3-second time penalty. What happened there? Daniel has had a mistake. Daniel's made a mistake, so he has dropped to P6, and Jonah retakes that position that he took earlier in this race, but having a penalty. Let's see some racing from SXT Daniel, says GSP Play Tendo. Well, here is SXT Daniel. I assume you mean the Daniel without the 28s. He is currently sitting second place. He was gaining on the TTG driver of Marcus Costa, but has recently fallen back about a second, and has now got the other TTG driver of Predator half a second behind him. So he's gone from looking at the back of a TTG car to looking in his rear mirrors at the front of a TTG car, as we see Mashiro at the back of Sector 2 having an off. But we'll stay with Daniel for a bit. We'll see what he's doing. Go on board. Obviously, TTG have jumped SX2 for the first time in EML this season and sit on the top of the table by 4 points. So SXT really do need to sort of just break up this momentum from TTG, because they are pulling in the results recently, getting both drivers high up in the finishing standings, and it's really just propelled them up, and they're looking good at the moment. I don't think we even saw Marcus Costa or Predator last race out, but there you go, they're able to switch out into new drivers and still be performing. I mean, we're 10 laps in, obviously still plenty of racing to go, but they are looking pretty good, pretty solid so far. So TTG will be watching this, pretty happy with how things are going so far, and hoping for more of the same for the rest of the race. As SXT Daniel 28 now sets the fastest lap, so him and Jonah are really pushing. Obviously Daniel 28 had a bit of a mistake which let Jonah through, so he must be reeling with that Jonah's overtaken twice this race, once legitimately and the second time just through a mistake of his own. So wanting to get, oh, someone's had an off. Oh, and it's, oh, I'm so sorry. It is Curse of the Commentator. I'm truly sorry. I've never had a Curse of the Commentator moment, but that is one. TTG Predator has had an off. He's dropped down to P8. Has he got any damage? I'm trying to have a look. Doesn't look like it. Oh, Mashiro retires in the pits. He's had enough of Japan for one day. He's got no damage, but Predator is down into P8, and that is big. And Sancho, and he's got, oh, not Sancho, where's Dennis? Having a look at him. Dennis still having a look. Oh, he's tempted. I'm just going to jump up. This Jonas right on the back of Bumpier now with that straight line speed of his, and he's going to go for the move up the inside. They bang wheels, but Jonah forces his way past the IRT man as SXT Daniel now sets the fastest lap. SXT now putting the throttle down and getting some laps, some fastest laps on the board. And this is a great fight. This is three really strong drivers here, having good old tussle. I think it's just lacking compared to the other two. It's just lacking a little bit of pace. He's still going really, really well, but these two just seem to have that little bit of an edge on him. And I think we'll see Jonah sort of push away from these two, unless SXT Daniel 28 can get past the IRT man. Apparently there was another comment, but I can't see another comment. Florian has just had an off, I believe. No, I can't see. If someone just commented, sorry, I can't actually see the comment. Sorry about that. But here we go. Daniel 28. Is he going to be able to make a move after 130R into the chicane? No. Too far back. Jonah was much closer, much more able. And there you go. Look, Marcus Costa replying to Daniel with the fastest lap. That's immediately beaten by Jonah, 139.3. Getting a lot of fastest laps. These guys going faster and faster, getting more and more used to these conditions. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't see any more rain. Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers in the chat, but I don't see any more rain. So are we going to see dries at some point? So maybe is that why these lap times are getting faster and faster, because we're not having the falling rain on the track. We're seeing Funky Chicken at the back pit, hoping he's not going to go on to dries. He has gone on to dries. Oh, and Daniel is right on the back of Bumpier now. That angle was terrible. I only just managed to notice that he was right on the back of the Red Bull. Here he is now, both using ERS. Daniel wants to get this move done. He knows Jonah is pulling away. Oh, and Bumpier has to lift a bit more than Daniel, and Daniel's going to have a send up the inside. Can he plant the brakes enough? He just about does. There's a bit of wheel banging, but it's respectful. There's a good bit of hard racing. And now when they're side by side, Bumpier is not giving this up. I think he's got a bit more straight line speed here. Maybe a bit more ERS left to play with. But he's just going to have to back out because Daniel's got the inside. And he gets the move done. That was a good bit of racing. Hard racing, yes. But Daniel got that car slowed down just enough into that chicane. Wheel bangs, it's going to happen in places. It happens, it's hard racing. And well done to those two. That was a good bit of racing. Bumpier down to 5th. But we'll definitely want to stay on the back of Daniel because that'll give him a bit of... as Dennis takes a spin. But that'll give Bumpier a bit of hope there, because that was a straight fight into turn 1 there. There was no car that had the edge there. It's just that Daniel had the inside line, and that was that. So if Bumpier can manage to get to that position again but have the inside line himself, always capable. But you can tell early doors here he's already down 1.5 seconds, so struggling a bit out there to keep pace with the rest. Gonna go with CPI 20. Doing pretty well, sitting in 7th. I think he's having a pretty solid race here. I think he had a mistake before where Raphael overtook him, as we see. There we go, into the 38s now. 38.7 for Daniel 28. So it's getting faster and faster as SXT Daniel becomes the latest driver to get a 3-second time penalty. So 7 drivers with time penalties now, and they're starting to rack up. I'm watching Funky Chicken's lap times, by the way, or his gap, and it's just going up and up and up. I don't know what Funky Chicken is doing there. It's nowhere near dry enough. You can't even see a dry line yet. There's no dry line, so a bit too soon, Funky Chicken, I'm afraid. It's a good attempt, and if it paid off, it would have been good, but a bit too soon. Sorry about that. But anyway, Bunty looking to take back the position he lost earlier to Raphael. He's gained half of the gap. It was 1.2. It's now down to, it was 6 tenths now. So it's Raphael starting to struggle on his intermediates. Bunty looks like he's flying, to be honest, with how he's gaining on that Haas car. Oh, as we see ex-Jonah Pitt, is that going to be onto dries? Is that going to be onto slicks? It is. So Bunty, out of the front runners, is the first to blink as Predator sets a new fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:38.5, so the track is evolving. But Jonah thinks it's ready for medium, so we'll keep an eye on that, because he's going to be... Oh, as Florian has to go around the outside of the Ferrari. But we'll keep an eye on how he gets on. But we're going to go back to Bunty, because I think he'll be setting up a move on the back straight for Raphael. I don't think he's close enough here to have it go into the hairpin. And that's sensible. Good to be patient in these moments, because you can gain so much ground and then it can be all gone like that from a silly, drastic action. And there he is, that he's right on the back now, as we're seeing at the back. VER Jet still not having the greatest races. Marcus Costa's gone off. Oh no, it's unravelling for the TTG team. What has happened there? He's taken a spin, and now he's coming into the pits, followed by SXT Daniel 28. So these guys going onto the dries. A lot of people going onto the dries. I'm watching Jonah's times. He was losing time on Florian, but he is now gaining time on Florian. So it's hard to tell as Florian now comes in. So only Dennis and Daniel stay out on the inters. As TTG Predator pits for another set of inters. That can't be right. That's got to be a mistake. Everyone's gone on to mediums. That's got to be a mistake, surely. If that's a mistake, Predator is going to be absolutely kicking himself. Oh, here's Jonah. He's right on the back of Daniel. Can't get the move done, but those mediums are alive, and he's got them heated up. So these are ready to go as Daniel. You've got to ease these tyres in. Ease them in, boys. Ease them in. They're not going to light up straight away. Take it slowly. There goes Jonah. Jonah's out. The Ferrari in the wall. We've seen that. We saw that on Sunday. Sainz. Carlos Sainz. Reenactment there from Jonah. And he is out of the race. Wow. And that is a free pit stop for SXT Daniel. That's going to be a free pit stop for Dennis. So Daniel is going to take the lead of this race. He is into the pits, I believe. He's changing the tyres, is he not? Yeah, he has changed the tyres. Oh, Marcus Costa's sped under the pit, under the safety car. So Marcus Costa has got a drive-through. This race, the TTG, has gone from 100 to 0 real quick. Wow. The mistake of Predator going on to the Inters, which has sort of been saved with this safety car here. He's now able to pit the softs, and he's going to be the only driver unless Florian follows him onto the softs. Wow. That is mental. So Jonah, who was flying on those mediums, I said he had them up to temperature, but they just snapped on him. They just went. You could still see the track was still a bit damp. Unlike now, it looks completely dry. But the lap before still looked in places damp. So it definitely still wasn't fully slick weather or track conditions, I should say. And Jonah is out of the race. That's really unfortunate for Jonah. He was having a really good race, showing some really great pace. I'm sure he would have come away with a great result here today. But that is racing. It can go like that. Everything can just change in an instant. So unfortunate for him there, as I'm not sure what Raphael is doing here. Was he meant to be ahead of Daniel? I'm not sure. Maybe he was. He might have meant to be ahead of Daniel, and it's just, I don't know. Anyway, so we need to wait for Jet to catch up to the back of the field. Whew. This is an interesting race. Everyone being squashed up for possibly 8 last laps, or it could be 7, depending if Jet can catch up. He's still got the whole sector 1 gap wise, but he might just do it. As Florian picks up a penalty under the safety car. That's a cheap penalty, not one he would have wanted to have. Let's show you guys watching the penalties here. So there we have it. We have multiple drivers on 3-second time penalties, including SXT Daniel, and Marcus Costa has a drive-through, which is going to be the most painful drive-through he would have ever experienced, as we do have another lap under the safety car, so we're not getting back underway just yet. Swanky Chicken is going to come in and just give himself a fresh set, I think. He is actually lapped anyway, so just going to try and grab the fastest lap, I assume, which is fair enough. Back to the tyres for you guys. So yeah, at the moment, Raphael, if he can stay with Daniel, is sort of the net leader at the moment as it stands. But he needs to stay within 3 seconds come the checkered flag at the end of lap 27. So this is anyone's race here. Who's going to have the pace on the mediums? It's going to be different now. These guys are going to be able to push a bit more than they would have before. Maybe go for moves in areas that they wouldn't have tried in the wet weather conditions. Let's see what happens. As you can see, drivers are now starting to warm up their tyres because they know we are going to go back racing at the end of this lap. While we're here, guys, a reminder, please do like the stream. I want everyone watching to like the stream right now. There is currently at least 12 people watching, and we have 6 likes, so let's double that. If you're watching the stream, like the stream right now, and that will make me a happy person. Also, subscribe to the League Racing TV channel to support EML and all the other leagues, the commentators, organisers. Much appreciated. And let's get back racing, because Daniel is about to get us back underway. And off he goes. And he's got a good getaway. Marcus hasn't had the best of getaways. He does have a drive through anyway, which is going to kill him. But he's going to be able to fend off from the oncoming cars behind him. And there's going to be no moves into turn 1 just yet. Let's stick with Raphael, who's behind Marcus Costa. He's staying relatively close. I'm trying to keep an eye. Is there any other moves happening? Bunty's pretty close to Bumpye. Bumpye is pretty close to Daniel 28. Bunty looking for a move around the outside of Bumpye. Not going to happen. Bumpye closes that door. Says, nope, I don't think so. But here goes Bunty now. He's got alongside him. Going up to the hairpin. Oh, and he's just gone a bit too deep. Knocked it up. He hasn't lost the position to Sancho Wiz. And he's still in contention here on Bumpye. And that cost Bumpye a bit of time there. As we see Raphael staying with Marcus Costa here. He's looking pretty fast on these mediums as Sancho Wiz goes round. Oh, and Bunty looking very good pace wise. But there we have it, a mistake can send you from the front all the way down to the back. SXT Daniel 28, that's both the SXT drivers picking up penalties. Marcus Costa sets the fastest lap and stays out, not setting that, not doing his drive through just yet. As we now go back to Julian on the back of Sancho Wiz, the other IRT car, who's been a bit quiet. I don't think we've seen much of Julian this race, but sitting P7 now, he'll be pretty happy with that. Although he has got a TTG driver of Predator behind him on some soft tyres, and he'll be pretty fast towards the end of this race. There's another time penalty, this time for Dennis. And Dennis making a mistake somewhere, and he's lost a few positions there, making another mistake, losing more positions. And there's a move up front, I've missed that, apologies. Raphael on the hairpin, taking Marcus Costa. He knows he needs to get that done because he needs to stay within 3 seconds to SXT Daniel to be able to take this win. As TTG Predator makes the move on Julian on those softs. Oh, and Julian tries to keep position, stays alongside him. They make contact. Julian is spun around and the Wells Tan drivers say thank you very much. We're going to take those positions. But Julian's going to come back. He's looking up the inside of Colin into 130 yard. There's a big bash of wheels. Here comes Jet, also looking to get involved. It's 3 wide. Colin doesn't want to give the position up, but he's going to have to if he forced wide. Jet takes the position. Marcus Costa's in to do his drive-through. It's kicking off all over the place. I'm struggling to just even... I'm flicking all over the place here. Florian has overtaken Colin. What's happened to Colin? Gone from potentially taking a position to dropping a few positions. Not sure if he maybe picked up some damage. Oh, Florian gets it all wrong. He's gone wide. As Colin picks up some damage, let's have a look. No, Colin's all good. Just struggling through a bit of pace, I think. And let me just grab a drink, because that was a bit of a mouthful. It's all kicking off. Jet now making a move on Julian. Maybe Julian made a mistake, because here comes Colin. Colin's in the action, all over the action. He doesn't want to stay out of it. He probably does, to be honest. His heart's probably racing, but it's not happening, Colin. You're going to have to get stuck in, mate. Hands on, get involved. He wants that position back off Julian, and he's not going to give it up. He's got the ERS on. Julian doesn't. Here he comes, the Williams driver of Colin. He's going to go out the inside 130R. This is... Ooh. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, but they've kept it all good. And they stay where they are. Who's that coming in? That's Funky Chicken coming in. He's going to come in for another set of softs. So Sancho Wiz takes the position off Bumpier. Oh, and Bumpier just taps the rear of that Mercedes. He manages to save the car pretty well, but he now does have TTG Predator behind him, looking to get at him. It's all kicking off in the midfield. We're seeing Colin again. Look at that gap. 2 tenths, 2 or 3 tenths behind Julian. He's sticking with that IRT man at the moment. Both IRT drivers being hounded right now in this race, in the closing laps of this race. Oh, and here goes Colin. He's looking for around the outside, and oh, that's a wheel bash there. Maybe a bit of a change of line from Julian there. Not sure if that was correct. We'll leave that up to the stewards if that's raised. I can see Jet is now gaining on Mike as well. We'll go back to Colin because he wants to make a move around the outside. It's not going to happen. That would have been quite some move if that were to come off. And here comes Predator. He wants a piece of the pie, and it's Bumpier's pie that he wants. Up the inside he goes. Nice and respectful on space. He gets a good exit. No, he doesn't. Goes sliding off the curb and into the side of Bumpier. Thankfully, they're both okay. They stay where they are for now. Predator, although, wants to have another go. He's going to... Ooh, that was a bit of a late defence from Bumpier. Jet's overtaken Mike. Florian has overtaken Colin Mason. The ESW Wales Tan drivers both losing a position on the home straight into turn 1. And it's just kicking off absolutely all over the place. I'm keeping an eye on that gap at the front. Remember, as there goes Colin on Florian. Florian, be careful. He's just gone a bit wide and into the side. I don't think that's anything wrong there. Florian just pulling a bit wide and making a bit of contact with the Williams. Mike wants that position back. He's on the back of Jet, not giving this up. As I was saying though, keeping an eye on that gap at the front. Daniel and Daniel both have 3 seconds. I think the plan there would be Daniel 28 needs to get in front of Raphael and hold him up and bridge a 3-second gap to Daniel, the other Daniel, who's currently in the lead, Daniel, to get a win. And he can thank the other Daniel. But let's go on board with Predator, who wants to have another go at Bumpier into the chicane. This time doesn't get as far alongside to the driver. And here goes Julian having another fight with the Wales Tan driver, and he's passed him. Predator is now past Bumpier. There's a yellow flag. That is the other CPI of Bunty. It's falling apart at the end for the CPI drivers. And we can see Daniel. Oh, what's happened here? Oh no, Daniel's made a mistake. And Daniel 28's gone into the back of Raphael. He's got damage. Has Raphael also got damage? He definitely had to brake, but he doesn't have any damage, no penalties. So is it now falling apart for the SXT guys? Sancho Wiz and Raphael looking really good as Daniel 28 goes deep. He's got damage. This is going to be a painful last lap and a half for him at the end of this race. It's kicking off all over the place. I don't necessarily think there's been bad driving. I think there's been some really good driving, but there's also been mistakes all over the board. Because Daniel just can't keep the pace now with this damage. And he's now side by side with Raphael. He's retaken that position, but he's going to lose so much pace in the corners as SXT Daniel is now coming back at Sancho Wiz. Look at that in the background. What a shot that is. And Daniel gets back up into P3. It's SXT versus DNLR Sancho Wiz, who's coming back at Daniel. There he is alongside on the outside. Can he hold it? It's all going to depend on where that pass driver is, because Daniel's going to have to back out a little bit. Oh, and it's been a big shunt. A big shunt. Sancho Wiz has gone into the back of the Haas of Raphael. Raphael has been taken out of this race and taken out of potential of winning this, as Sancho Wiz seems to be just blasting his way through no matter how. And Daniel's now right on the back of Sancho Wiz. What is going on here? It's SXT Daniel squared versus Sancho Wiz as Daniel goes around the outside, and there's Daniel 28 going deep. Sancho Wiz and Daniel having a bump of wheels. This is absolutely mental. Bumpye is coming up, as said in the chat. He's in 5th behind Predator, who has a penalty. Sancho Wiz could have a penalty after this if things go to the stewards, but we're not going to get involved in that, as Bumpye does make a move because Predator's made a mistake. He's up into P4. What is going to happen here at the end of this race? It's going to be Sancho Wiz that's going to take it by penalties. As here we go, Sancho Wiz, Daniel 28 gets out of the way. I don't know whether he meant to do that, but Sancho Wiz is your winner. Daniel and Daniel 28 finishing 2nd and 3rd on track. Daniel 28 just loses out on 3rd place by half a second to Bumpye. Bumpye makes it up onto the podium. Raphael crashed out or just collided out, pushed out of the battle for the win. Has to settle for 5th. He won't be happy. Julian in 6th. I'm losing my voice. Colin Mason in 7th. Jet, who was struggling a lot in this race, actually picks up P8 for VER. So that's a double points finish for VER. They'll be over the moon with that. Marcus Costa picks up P9 after his drive-through. He'll be happy with points after that drive-through. And Mike picks up P10. Bunty in P11, Predator P12 after a late mistake cost him a finish in the top 10 or top 5 even. Florian picks up P13, and Funky Chicken is going to come home for P14. Wow. Let me catch my breath. Ooh, driver of the day given by the game, Sancho Wiz. I generally don't know. I'm not sure if I can agree, but I don't really know who I would say is the driver of the day there. I just don't think anyone really wanted to take that win today. Seemed to be a lot of mistakes. Marcus Costa was in the lead. He had a mistake. Predator was up there. He had a mistake. Both Daniels had mistakes. Sancho Wiz potentially involved in incident, at least one incident. Bumye was there, but struggled for pace to be able to fight for the podiums. Ends up on the podium. It all went off. And what hectic Japanese Grand Prix we have had. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sancho Wiz is your winner here in Japan. It's SXT Daniel who takes 4th, Raphael 5th, Julian 6th, Colin in 7th, Jet in 8th, Marcus Costa 9th, Evil Bryn Mike 10th, Bunty 11th, Predator 12th, 13th for Florian Funky Chicken 14th and picks up the fastest lap. Dennis DNF, Jonah DNF, Mashiro DNF, Just Coconuts DNF, and the other RLS man who joined in quali when he shouldn't have, also DNF'd, but would be DSQ'd anyway. Wow, what a race. I have definitely lost my voice really from that one. But what an ending. I've thoroughly enjoyed that ending from a spectator's point of view. I hope everyone watching enjoyed that from a spectator's point of view. I hope I brought that race to life as best I could for everyone watching. If you are still watching, please finally again like the stream. It'll make my day. Subscribe to the League Racing TV channel. It'll make my day. It'll make the organisers of EML, all the other leagues, the commentators, it'll make everyone's day if you can subscribe to the channel. And finally, thank you very much for joining me. I've been your commentator, Lesty, and I will see you next week for the next race, which is round 7. Stephen's actually made a last minute comment. Bet you're fuming after the SXT fumble. Haha. Yes, I am in SXT. I'm completely neutral when it comes to commentating. Obviously, from an SXT point of view, yes, that elusive win has gone again, but there's a lot of stupid things that could happen, but might not happen. So we'll see. Either way, I am happy to have an entertaining race for myself and for you guys. But yes, the next race next week that I will be seeing you at is Italy. We go to Monza, so please join me, and maybe Storm will be back with me, who knows. But join me, Lesty, next week, same time, for the Monza Grand Prix in Italy. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a lovely evening. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week.